Here we go again with another highlight reel. This time from 2024. We start with a clip of me waiting to cross Tritton Road. I'm waiting on the lights. This guy figured he knew better than to wait and almost got his rear end swiped. Okay. Let's get on with it. We'll start with dogs. They hate me. I'm more of a cat person. This one in Hart's home park made towards me as I passed. Big dog was thankfully on a lead. Tritton Road. Pooch walks out in front of me. Of course I am being careful, but thankful again that the owner has it on a lead and pulls it back. I would have waited or gone around, no bother. The final uphill section of my commute. Matey boy here doesn't look but allows his dog to go first before realizing his mistake and pulling him back. Tritton Road again. And this fella has his mutt on the opposite side of the cycle lane to himself. As it was dark, it was hard to see if it was on a lead, so I opted to go around. Appreciated it's quiet, but think about the safety of your animal in future. Hillside Avenue again. At this point, cycling uphill, I can't see around the corner for any oncoming vehicles thanks to somebody's epic parking up on the left there. Although I am in my lane, drivers coming the other way like to cut this corner in advance of the parked vehicles on my right. I see the oncoming driver, pull over and stop in order to accommodate. Please excuse the untimely spot of rain on the bike cam. Appreciated, the camera makes it look further away than it actually was, point being, I had to slow to accommodate and that's just poor and impatient driving. Just like this next driver on Brayford Wharf East. That got you far, didn't it, pal? Also got you a fine for driving without due care. Wynn Street and back on the bike cam. This impatience cost the driver a fine and points for driving without due care. Waterside South is usually rife with moronic driving, just like this one who won a couple of points and, you guessed it, a fine. The only other thing to look out for on Tempest Street, apart from oncoming traffic driving in the wrong lane, is this kitty, whom I regularly see and is always crossing the road. Monk's Road is simple. It's a fairly straight road with multiple streets off either side. In some places, there are these central islands with "Keep Left" bollard signs. In the UK, ignoring a "Keep Left" sign is considered a traffic sign violation, and the penalty typically includes a fine of up to £1,000 and a minimum of 3 penalty points on your driving license. Most commonly, you will receive a fixed penalty notice with a fine of £130 and 3 penalty points. A poorly recorded example of how easy it is to follow the H2 rule. On Lincoln High Street, at a pedestrian crossing, lights on red. Not everybody on the road was paying attention on this day. Thankfully, the pedestrian was well clear of the crossing at the time. This new P-plate driver copped it for running the red here. Likely mistaking the filter left light as a green for going ahead. The acceleration on the e-bike meant I was well clear. But things could have been very different for a slower cyclist. Lincoln has 2 level crossings in the city centre. One is on the high street and the other is by the Brayford. Sometimes it's a quick wait, other times like this, it's a much longer wait. Oftentimes the barriers won't lift between trains up to 5 or 6 minutes apart. Yes, both crossings have bridges. The high street crossing has a lift as well, but I wouldn't recommend using it unless you have zero sense of smell. I made a little effort for some phone use behind the wheel last year. And I'll admit that the habit really annoys me. It's also something I've experienced, drivers using their phone, veering towards me in their big, heavy, metal box of death on wheels. Waiting in traffic is no excuse, as both of these distracted drivers found out. This one chose to sit on a crossing whilst using theirs. Convenient for the driver, but nobody else. Excuse me miss, you're parked with your engine on in a mandatory cycle lane. And you're on the phone. Double offense, 6 points is the least you deserved. Positioning is a giveaway. I mean, at least make it challenging to be spotted. Or don't. Phone drivers never challenge the footage. Common sense is clearly lacking in this one, phone driving in the works van. I'll bet his boss had a few words for him a week or two later when the prosecution notice came through. It's usually the more expensive cars that have phone drivers inside. Just as well, they can afford the fine. This is the worst though. Moms on the school run, with the kids in the car. They are not just putting other road users in danger, but risking the well-being of their own children. It disgusts me. I wonder how long before she realizes. And now she sees me. Down by the river. Waterside North narrows to one lane, although traffic flows in both directions. It's a pleasant cycle when motorists are not being impatient along here. My most viewed video on another social media site, that was filmed here, almost hit 1 million views. I might have to upload it here for more inaccurate and ludicrous comments from angry drivers. The worst close passes from 2024. They don't faze me like they used to. Now I just smile as they go by, and in 10 days, they get their prosecution notice in the mail. Was it worth it? Did they make the lights? It wasn't. And they didn't. They also missed the stop line, and so 2 offenses in one clip. My favorite clip from last year. 10 points for driving without due care. Win Street. Very profitable for the city as nobody seems to know the road rules along here. Just stay on your own side of the road and we have no problem. Enter my lane and drive at me, you can answer to the authorities. The camera isn't the best at night, but it will catch your plate as this close passer found out. I'll bet that hurt. It wasn't worth the risk or the fine as I'm right behind you into the grocery store. This moronic woman did slow, but still managed to hit my handlebars, knocking her wing mirror back. She effed around and yes, she found out. As the sun sets behind me, I'll leave you to the rest of your day. Or night. And just a reminder. I post the worst of my experiences. Many have been prosecuted, and many more will follow. Don't gamble with my safety and we've no issue. It really is that simple. Be patient, share the space and we're all good. I laugh at these drivers and have a turn about my videos. I understand that it really gets some people's backs up. But ask yourself why it bothers you so much. Do you see your own actions behind the wheel in these videos? Are you at risk of getting caught on camera, driving like an idiot? With so many dash cams, cycle cams and action cameras about, if you do drive like these Lincoln folk, you could be next with a prosecution notice through the door. Just saying. Stay safe.